Well, I mean, virtual learning, e-learning, even just the Chromebooks in the schools is a lot of work. I mean, at the beginning of the month, we started with very few Chromebooks in the schools, and Monday we ended with about 77,000 in the schools. And so right now, all our Chromebooks are in the hands of our students, and so we did that in just a matter of weeks. And so it's been intense. There's been some minor issues. We always staff up at the beginning of the school year so that we can handle the flow or the calls that come in. But after a couple of days, it settles down pretty quickly.
Right, and this is kind of something you expected, right? Like you didn't think that you were going to start a brand new program and not have any hiccups.
Well, there's always that unknown variable of a pandemic. And so, we take all consideration of our plans. We're very plan-oriented, so we just executed our plans. Like when we had a large call volume on Monday, we added twice the staff to our help desk, and then the schools went and put together their own help desks to reduce the number of calls, and we've greatly reduced them from about 4,700 on Monday to about 500 yesterday. So huge reduction.
Right. And so some parents that I have been in conversation with, they're worried about not necessarily the Chromebooks, but not having internet. So what have you guys provided them?
Sure. We'll show you in a little bit. Down the hall, we have over 2,000 MiFi hotspots we're sending out to schools, and those are going for families that qualified for the CARES Act. And then we've ordered several hundred hotspots for our teachers, because remember now our teachers are doing e-learning and virtual on Fridays. And then we've added additional hotspots with the help of other organizations like United Way. So the idea is to get out there and fix the problem. But first you have to identify the problem. So we sent surveys and queries and forums and stuff like that to find out how big of a problem is it broadband at home. So with 77,000 families, we've got 3,000 requests.
And so, Tim was telling me earlier that the request number was around 5,000 in the beginning of the week, but it's down to...
Oh, phone calls.
Right, phone calls. Mm-hmm. But it's down to helping around only like 400 folks. So
yes,
talk about how good that is, that you're able to kind of solve the issue fast.
Well, last school year, in the 1920 school year, on the first day of school, we had 171 calls. Okay, the first day of school this year, we had 4,700. So it's a substantial increase. And a lot of it was what we call root cause issues, where you have 100 people reporting an issue and you can fix it with just one little fix. And so a lot of the root cause issues we were able to take care of rather rapidly. The calls are down, like I said, yesterday was 500, today probably 400, and it's starting to come down to its normal. But it's coming down because we implemented a plan where we doubled the number of people answering calls, and then we implemented at the schools their own little mini help desks. So the schools implemented a help desk. The parents could call them, and then they could call us.
Who is it that you kind of brought on board to help call people?
We brought in our field staff. We have about 28 field staff out there that go to school, and we brought them in to actually help answer the phone calls. But we didn't bring them in. They were done virtually.
Right. So that kind of helped with the...
Mm-hmm. And we could expand it even further. If we've noticed our call volume increase, we could have doubled that number as well. But we noticed that it's starting to decrease quite rapidly. So.
Gotcha.
You have anything, Matt?
Yeah. Hey, Bill. Matt Kovacs with Fox Carolina here. Appreciate Tim conferencing me into the call. You had said that all students now have their Chromebooks. Does that mean, because at the board meeting just a couple of days ago, there were some board members and some constituents who called in during public comments that said that kids didn't have Chromebooks yet. The district said that they would have to make up their assignments. So you're saying all the kids who did not have Chromebooks as of that meeting Tuesday night now have them?
Well, don't forget, today's the last day of the one-day schedule. Okay, so some parents may have waited until today to pick them up at the schools.
Sure.
Okay, but from our statistics, and we're monitoring the number of Chromebooks that are connecting to our network, it's well over 71,000. So we may have a few out there, but it's a very small number, and those are probably waiting on pickup.
Great, awesome, thank you. You talked about, we talked about a lot of the call numbers and the help desk and the mini help desk that you set up.
Mm-hmm.
what were just, from your experience, what were the majority of those calls that have been placed throughout the week about, or were they varied topics?
We had a lot of calls where their Chromebook was disabled, and we did disable Chromebooks over the summer that never made it back to the district, and they finally came back. So a lot of them were disabled, and then we had some password issues where the student waited until Monday to find out how to log into their system. And so we had quite a few password issues. Some were wrong passwords, or they changed the password last year and forgot what they changed it to, and we had to reset them. But that's a lot of the calls that we were picking up. I mean, there are some websites that parents said were overloaded or they couldn't get access to, and we worked through those as well.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest complaints I got from some parents and families that we spoke to was the fact that long load times or things not loading at all, buffering, just lags. What, in your opinion, from like a technological standpoint, are some of the root causes of that particular set of issues?
Well, in a particular example is our Google Meet, which is the video conferencing we use at the schools for the students. We spent a good amount of time tracing back all the traffic and making sure it wasn't our equipment or our network that was causing the issue. And we were able to drill down and identify that it was either the Google servers are too busy or the home network is too crowded.
As in, like, the individual family home network?
Yes, remember, because a lot of our students are sitting at home connected to their home network, and, they're just crowded.
Right, and so Google servers, nothing, I know that you might not want to or be able to speak about this, but I figured I'd ask anyway.
Sure.
Does it have anything to do with, maybe internet providers that certain families have, versus others?
Well, I will say that we are working with Charter Spectrum on identifying some areas that we think may have a problem with their service. Okay, but they're working really well with us. But at the same time, we have a ticket in with Google on their Google Meet performance at the back end too. So we're working very hard, which is kind of outside our area, which is with the providers and with the services. And we're providing them information of what we're seeing, network latency, congestion times, and they're being very helpful, and we'll resolve it.
Sure. Now, if there is an issue with, Charter Spectrum or the Google servers or even the individual, family home servers that you're talking about, what is the best solution, in your opinion, to that problem? Is there anything that the district can do for any of those sets of problems? And in some cases, does it boil down to what an individual family can do in their own home?
No, they can call our help desk number if they're having problems, going to a Google Meet with a teacher. And what we're doing is we've actually connected with several families, and they're doing stuff at home so that we can identify and isolate where the issue is. We just got done sending one family a new set of Chromebooks to make sure it's not a Chromebook issue. Okay, and then we've got a ticket in with Google. We're working with Charter Spectrum. We're also noticing issues with T-Mobile, AT&T, Spirit. So it's not just one particular provider, but everybody's still at home right now working.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds like it's not a one-size-fits-all problem. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say it's not one size fits all, and sometimes it can be terribly hard to identify the issue where it's actually at.
Gotcha. I know that your work is never done. You're a very busy man. In your opinion, especially with the reduced call volume, when do you think that we can get this to the point where calls are few and far between, and these issues are very menial, and we've got everything sort of ironed out?
Well, our help desk normally handles 60,000 calls a year, and we'd like to get back to that normal. But the realization is we're not normal. All right, we've got e-learning going on. We've got students, 4 days a week sitting there doing online work from home. We've got virtual program where it's 5 days a week online learning from home. That's not our norm. Okay, last year, it was a very small number of people that were doing online work. So it's not our norm, and so we're not getting back to that norm, not anytime soon. So we're preparing to operate at this capacity.
Could you say that again, but look at me when you say that?
Well, we're not going to be normal. I mean, we're operating a virtual school program now that's been, that goes for the entire school year. We're operating e-learning, so, students are at 4 days a week, they're at home. That'll change in September. And then you have virtual, that's 5 days a week. So to say that when we're going to return to normal, well, there's a new normal. And so we're just going to follow our plans, work through our issues, and get things done so that we're back to where we were. I mean, the fact of the matter is that we've got over 70,000 Chromebooks using our systems today. Find somebody else in the upstate that's doing that. There's nobody.
Everybody good?
Yeah, hey, I just had one more thing, not concerning e-learning, but virtual learning. I just ran across this from my notes on Tuesday. There were also some families who said that for virtual, not e-learning, the virtual academy, that they had been, their child had been completely locked out, and that there was some issue with it just not recognizing him at all. Does that go back to what you said earlier, Bill, about the kids just waiting too long perhaps to log in, or is that a separate issue? I just wanted some clarification on that.
No, that's a separate issue because remember we've implemented a brand new virtual school. E-learning is one component, virtual is a whole new thing. And so we're moving a lot of students around from the traditional brick and mortar schools into virtual learning courses. So, you're going to get some hiccups while you're doing that. But the number is very small.
Sure. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm good.